Alright guys, you remember when I did the helicopter training video for Warzone, and it seemed like it did help quite a lot of you out. And of course, I've already mastered the planes in Warzone's new map. And let me tell you, they are extremely overpowered if you can use them correctly. Locking onto people, parachuting into the early game for free kills, wiping out entire squads with nosedives, and of course, kamikaze into other planes or players. With this guide, I'm going to be showing you how to control the planes, how to get them early, easy kills, how to get the advantage on other planes and destroy them, and where they're going to be spawning. Don't forget, guys, even when you jump out of this plane, you're still not useless for your team. You can still down people and just take them out. You're going to see the full guide here first, so make sure you leave a like on the video, support the channel out, and if you haven't already, smash sub so you can see more of these guides and the best tips within Warzone's new map. First off, let's start with the controls. I'm going to be talking about controllers for this. So the forward analog stick moves you forward, right analog sticks for aiming, LB is for quick braking. The braking is going to be used in scenarios where, you know, you're going to nosedive downwards, start shooting a bunch of players, and you can brake up if you think you're going to crash. You can slow down, brake up, just go straight into the sky, and it normally prevents you from crashing, and it will just divert the plane upwards. You can also use the brake when you're being chased by other planes. You can make sharp turns or just slow down with the brake, and the other planes are just going to go straight in front of you, and you can reposition a little bit. You can, of course, switch seat or have another player inside the plane. Could be good for spotting. I like switching seats when I'm being shot, or you can make some nasty plays and try and see if you can beam anyone when switching the seat. If you switch seats and there isn't a pilot, the plane's just going to naturally roll upside down. It's a bit crazy. Normally dodge bullets sometimes. Now, as for the plane's gun, you've got two options. You can zoom in your aim. I normally use this when I'm diving downwards to try and look for players, you know, try and spot them out. Zooming in gives me a bit more of an advantage of it. There is an auto lock on this plane. The gun will auto-lock onto players, so people who are parachuting, they're going to be easy kills. Players on the ground are going to be super easy kills if you can zoom in and you can slow down the plane enough to get a shot on them. Same thing with the planes as well. It's naturally going to lock on if you can get it around the crosshair here. But more or less, that is the standard controls. As for the plane spawns, there's 5 in total on the map. The first is kind of in the middle of the map. It's between the mines and a peak. You're going to see a little mini runway there with a single plane. That's where one can spawn. The most obvious and where the highest amount of planes are is going to be at the airfield. You're going to find around 8 planes. It's kind of the go-to for people that, you know, want to go to the airfield. They're going to get a plane. Third location is below the fields. Again, like the mine, it has a single mini runway. The fourth location is on the top right side of the map. At the runway, you're going to find 3 planes there. The fifth location is near Arsenal at the top of the map, and you'll find a couple planes here. Now, that's every location to find the planes, and the reason you need to know all of their spawns, because if you get downed while you're flying a plane, you know, AA guns can shoot you down very quickly, or maybe you kamikazed into another plane and you needed to jump out. Knowing these locations, you can normally pinpoint where you can fly to get another plane. As of the time of recording this video, there's been a few little silent nerf changes that I've seen. There only seems to be a set amount of planes on the map, and then once they're destroyed, they don't respawn back in. Of course, if the gas goes over the planes as well, it's going to destroy them. Now, one of the main reasons the plane is an essential overpowered tool for your squad is that it acts like a personal UAV. When you fly it over an area, it's going to ping any players in that area, alerting your teammates and you where their players actually are. You don't need to be extremely low for this to happen, and it's a huge advantage into helping your team or, you know, pinpointing where people are, just for reconning the area for your squad. Another little side note as well is that the red edged out map areas that you don't need to go to, unlike Verdansk, you normally got like 5 seconds in there. When you're in a plane, you get about 35 seconds out of the area, so you can actually maneuver, reposition yourself like this. Then you have more than enough time to come back into the map again. Now, obviously, my favorite part of the video is going to be onto killing the players. Now, there's a few strategies you can do here. The first is if you go straight up towards the sky, and when you reach the highest point, the plane will automatically start to do a nosedive downwards, which is going to be your opportunity to get some easy kills. Having teammates kind of ping locations, most wanted, stuff like that, are going to be such easy kills. You can brake and slow down to make sure you're zoomed in with your gun, and you can just see players and just down them like that. I've noticed that you will always down them easily, but you're never ever going to be able to get the finish on them. You do have the option, obviously, to kamikaze into them and finish them off, or finish off any remaining squads that you're going to see, which you're going to see here. It's a risky option, but it does play off hugely, especially if your team actually needs you, but then, you know, you've lost your plane. When you're doing these nosedives, you need to make sure that you've got a lot of distance between you and the play, or the area that you're going to sort of strafe down and kill people at. I like to ping certain things. Let's say someone's picked up a most wanted, that's an easy down. Or if people in vehicles, you can't really tag the actual vehicles because you need to be really close to them. So what I'd do is I'd ping a shot near it, and then I could go around there and get a rough estimate where someone actually is. But again, that's why you need your teammates to kind of, you know, ping an area and tell you to come around and do a strafe run on them. Also, when you're trying to enter inside the plane, if you know other players are going to land on it with you, let them get in first. You can just land on the wing, and it's going to be an easy kill for you. You're not going to fall off the wing easily. But if you get in a plane first, you can switch seats and shoot people. like this, but be warned, the plane's still going to be taken off and it's going to be like a scene from Indiana Jones like this. And I like using the plane for these strafe runs, these UAV reconnaissance, not only just to stay in the plane the whole game, but you can absolutely sweat this out. Sometimes you can down people when other teams are going to finish them, and if you want to stay in the plane, or if their squads are not nearby at all, they're just going to bleed out. The slower you're going down with the plane though, as you're descending for these strafe runs, the more it's going to shake and be a lot harder to hit targets, although the auto lock-in normally is enough to try and, you know, pick at least one off every time you do it. And you got to remember that there's no overheat cooldown for this weapon, so you can just keep shooting it, whether that's planes or players. Just hold down the trigger, it's going to keep shooting. And you can also net a huge amount of kills early game. If you see the flight path of the drop plane, get into one of the plane locations and then kind of go onto that flight path, you can kill people so easily in the air, and it is going to get you so many early kills and of course rages. Now, as for the dogfights, while you're in the air, while you're fighting other planes, as long as you're slowing down and braking and coming behind them, you're always going to get the kill. When you destroy the plane, most of the time the pilots will just parachute out, but if you're still high in the air, you can brake and take the pilot out. You're being chased by other enemy planes, you need to be using hard brake turns and a lot of maneuvering around to just get behind the enemy. I don't like zooming in when I'm trying to shoot them down. I find it a bit harder to actually do, so I normally just like shooting them while zoomed out and relying on the auto lock for the planes. And another crucial tip, guys, is that your teammates need to be pinging vehicles, or at least enemies, to give you an easier and more accurate strafe one if you're going into this. Vehicles are so much easier to destroy when you can actually track them down, and you can even stay into the plane until the late circle. It is a lot harder because the gas is going to damage the plane. I was able to do it. I stayed in this circle for so long, gunning down as many people as I could. Then into the late circle, I jumped out and I was able to get a couple more kills. I do also like to do a few kind of things. I like to pick up most wanted and then go into planes. You know, you're already in the air, no one's really going to catch you. But there is a few things that you've got to watch out for in this game, such as the AA turrets that are going to be highlighted around the map. As soon as they turn red, someone is active on that. And the same with the AA guns as well. There's vehicles on this now that have AA vehicles, and if someone is shooting you with one of the turrets, it is going to give you a notification on the screen, and these things will down you extremely fast depending on how close you are to the vehicles. Don't underestimate them. You will get blasted within a couple seconds. Now, you can actually shoot the turrets, and it is going to disable it. I mean, I've died by a plane, but I just got a suicide death, so I'm not sure if that's a glitch. If you are being locked on and you see them, you're taking damage pretty heavily, I would suggest jumping out. Or if you've got balls, feel free to try and take on the AA vehicles. They do take a lot of damage, though, before you're actually able to disable them or destroy them. Now, that is the planes with the Warzone's new map. I am curious, though, because are they going to add flares for the planes? Because if you're getting your Modern Warfare loadout and you're using like a pillar lock-on launcher, there's going to be absolutely no way, you know, you're going to be able to flare it unless you can do a barrel roll and dodge the missiles. This is with like 48 hours of me playing with the plane. I think I've pretty much mastered everything about it. People aren't going to get their loadouts as easy into the game. I don't know if you guys have realized now, you can only buy your loadout when the first free one actually comes in. So there's a lot more sort of open early game. And I would prioritize shooting down planes before anything else, because sooner or later they're going to track you down. Once you destroy the planes, you're taking out another plane on the map that someone else can't get into, and it's going to be a lot safer for you just to dominate the air. I do recommend doing it in quads or trios. I mean, one player not missing and going around in a plane is going to help your squad out a lot. I do like going into duos because it is a lot easier to get kills. You know, you only need to kill 2 people in a strafe dive, and that is the kill. They're out of the game. I do think these planes are really viable right now. Definitely get used to driving them around. If you're used to flying the jets in Battlefield, it's the same kind of concept. You just got to get used to it. Know about braking, know about the nose dives and slowing the plane down. You know, you don't want to strafe too low down, crash. You're going to make a lot of mistakes when doing it, but the planes are really good and are going to help your team out. The last tips that I'm going to probably give you guys is that you want to be using that map as much as you can. Multitasking with it, you know, trying to ping areas where you see the jeeps. The jeeps are really easy kills every single time. The trucks, though, don't know, they take a lot of hits by the time you strafe downwards and you start shooting them. You probably disable it, but you are going to down a lot of people. You know, if people buying self-revives as well, you could down 2 people. They're just going to put themselves back up. But that's why you really want to get them early game kills. If you start seeing stuff like the cash drops, you know, them supply run contracts where crate lands down, green smoke, gives you a little bit of indication where people are. Most wanteds are so easy to get kills on because you can just literally track them and go down. If anyone's in the buildings, you're not going to kill them, so just leave them off. Mastering skills like that is honestly going to be your best bet. I like to keep into the plane until about the 5th circle. So if you want to see gameplay of that, I've got a full video of me getting a really high kill game with the plane, so which you're going to see at the end of the video. Feel free to check that out and you can see a whole entire gameplay, how I play in a plane basically. But that was it, guys. I hope you liked the video. Let me know in the comments what you think about the planes. Are they really overpowered? Do you think they're trash at the minute? Let me know. And as always, I'll catch you a lot later because there's going to be a ton more videos coming out.